Everybody, let me know if you can hear me. I just got back to Florida. I was in California for the last 20 days, and here we are, back in the studio, back in the saddle. And what better way to do it than unbox this guitar that has been waiting for me mysteriously the entire time. All right, so let's checking that. Get right to it. Here we go. Not exactly sure what's in this box. I have a decent idea of it, but let's make it happen. Davidas, my man, what the heck? Look at this guy. The most famous man in Sarasota commenting first on the live stream. My guy, Davi. Have all of you been watching Davidas's videos? He's blowing up. He's becoming the most famous Florida musician of all time in front of our very eyes. So, Davi, let me know. You did get a for real first, not one of those fake firsts, you know? Where it's like embarrassing, it's like the 5th comment, and the guy's like, first! No. A real first. Oh man, it's one of these boxes within a box. All right, let's do this. Father's Day Eve. We got a show tomorrow night, me and Andrea, at a pizza place that'll probably be vlogging, so check that out. What's going on, Sue and Aaron and Matthew? That's right. Howick, don't forget the likes. We ride. So we actually got spotted by some riders in the wild in California. Shout out to my guys at Pebble Beach. Look at this. All right, that's done there. You never thought, look, Lord Balrog, of course, I used to do live streams all the time, but then my phone kept dropping them. So hopefully this one stays up for a while. All right, so if you can't tell, the suspense is riveting. Looks like an acoustic guitar. So now I actually do know what this is. But is it just an acoustic guitar? No. Supposedly this is a smart acoustic guitar from Hyvibe. All right. Here we go. Woo! Look at this, guys. All right. I watched one video on this. Apparently you can turn this into like a looper, and it has like built-in effects and everything. I think I'll do a demo for this during the week, but I just kind of wanted to open this up and kind of get the ball rolling right away. And then maybe just kind of do a guitar lesson if you guys have any questions or whatever. Thanks, Davi. Also, if you guys don't know, Summer NAMM is on, and me and Davidas are going to be there slaying. So get yourselves to Nashville July 15th if you're around. Oh, these tuners. This is your first time tuning here? Hey, Lord Balrog. Brad, good to see you, buddy. All right, let's tune it up. What kind of guitar lesson you guys want to learn today? Because I'm gonna do this live stream. I'm gonna shoot a Patreon video, and then I'm probably gonna make a video that I'm gonna post tomorrow, and then I'm gonna watch the Bucks beat the Nets in Game 7. Which, if you're watching this tomorrow or later, I might sound like a total idiot because that's what's up. Summer NAMM must be nice. Davi, how come you're not playing on the circle tonight? What's up? It should be a poppin' Saturday night. Is today Saturday? I have no idea. I gotta say, these tuners seem very impressive. Alright, so the other thing I've been thinking about is maybe not playing in standard tuning, but this one obviously is going to be. Oh, you're going right now? All right, everybody, run to St. Armand's if you're in the area. Maybe I'll stop by, Davi. It sounds really full. It sounds kind of like. It almost sounds like a 12-string, actually, which is very interesting. By the way, this has become my new default way to like demo a brand new guitar. I go C/G, 2 frets higher to make that D chord. Yeah, right? It does sound like a 12-string. What? But there are only 6 strings. How do they do it? This is the world's first smart guitar. Again, apparently you can like, there's a speaker built into this. I'm gonna get into this later. I don't want to do a disservice to Hyvibe by just trying to like figure out what I'm doing while I'm being distracted on a live stream. But yeah, we have an input and an output, so you can plug stuff into this. Supposedly, there is a looper built into this guitar. I do not know how that could possibly work, but I'm gonna figure it out, and I'll do a demo and let you guys know about it eventually. Seems to be a pretty good build. Cool, sweet. Come to the circle and bring Andrea to have her do 89 plus if she knows the words. So me and Andrea have spent the last 20 days together. We needed a day. we took the red eye back from Los Angeles back to Florida overnight last night. So we're giving each other a 24-hour grace period of relaxation before our show tomorrow night. So Davi, we're gonna come do 89 plus, but it'll probably be the next time you're at St. Armand's because it's just a lot of time. I love Andrea dearly, more than life itself, but we needed a day, a day off. If y'all have never spent, what is it? I guess it was 16 straight. It's 16 straight days together with another person. It can be a lot. Even the most amazing person I've ever met, it can just be a lot. So a little bit of a break. Yeah. Again, it's a lot. Love that girl. She's the best. This action is so good. Oh. I love it. All right, so I'm going to teach a guitar lesson in just a second. It sounds great, right? This is awesome. Oh, Lily, maybe like a beginner's intro into the cage system. You want to learn about that? By the way, Lily right there, who commented that, is like the world's greatest designer. So if you guys have any design work you need done, maybe she can like link something in the comments because she's been doing a lot of the artwork for the stuff that we've been releasing for the new song Moonpool that we did. If you haven't checked that out on Spotify, definitely do it. Andrea and Sean. I really love how that turned out. I think I might actually teach the full version of that on Patreon very soon. This guitar is awesome. I love this thing. So I'll link the guitar in the description as soon as I post this, because it's kind of hard to do it while I'm doing it. But yeah, keep the knives away from Andrea, right? Love the Elliott Smith tutorials. Thank you so much. I love making the Elliott Smith tutorials. On the quick thing before I start teaching something, I was listening to Adrienne Linker on the way back, on the flight back, her solo album, which I've talked about a little bit before on Listening Homework. She's the lead singer, lead writer for Big Thief. Her solo stuff is so good. The guitar stuff is so awesome. I love how it's mixed. It's really sparse, but it still has like a good shaker percussion vibe. And just awesome acoustic guitar playing that is very reminiscent of Elliott Smith's playing and writing. So if you're an Elliott Smith fan, definitely check out the Adrienne Linker solo album, or just Big Thief in general, because I think it's some of the best stuff out there and really reminds me a lot of Elliott. Serious question. Aliens invade your house. You show them one chord to convince them guitar is cool. Which one do you... Oh, easy, right here. This guy right here. F major 9. I think major 9 chords, definitely underrated on guitar. You can do like a 1 to a 4 chord thing, right? So real quick, let's do C major 9 first. So you could have a C major 7, which is a C, E, a G, and a B. Really easy to make C major 7. I can't believe how much like a 12 string this sounds for only having 6 strings. So yeah, this is the Hyvibe Tremontane, I believe. I think they only have like 1 or 2 guitars, but again, this is a smart guitar, so that's the make and model. I'll link it in the video afterwards. But yeah, man. C. All right, so C major 9 would be C, E, G, B, and then the 9th with C would be C, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Then we'd be adding a D to it, right? So the way that I like to play it is kind of like this one right here. So I've got my C, 3rd fret on the A string middle finger. Then I have my E, 2nd fret on the D string pointer finger. So that's the root note, major 3rd. The 7 right there, which is a B, the 4th fret on the G string. And honestly, like, this is just a really cool voicing of a major 7 chord in general. See how good that sounds? You can even thicken it up a little bit. By having that open B and E string ring out with it, which on like a guitar with like really good tone like this, that already sounds kind of like a 12 string, opens it up. It kind of has that big chimey open sound. And then you could move it down to the F right there, which is the 8th fret on the A string. But to finish the voicing I usually use without using any open strings, you just have your ring finger grab the 3rd fret on the B string. So now it's just the middle of 4 strings. So the D is where your ring finger is, right? So you have the root note, the major 3rd, the major 7, and then the 9th, which is really just the 2nd note in the scale again, but since we have the 1, 3, implying the 5, 7, 9, that's a C major 9. So that is the chord that I would use to convince aliens that guitar is cool, apparently, right? So maybe we can actually transition that into like the lesson for today, as far as maybe building interesting lines from arpeggios. I know arpeggio is kind of like, some people just don't dig arpeggios at all. The guitar's actually staying in tune pretty well, even though it's been sitting in a box unopened for a while. It's to like, all right, how do you build a chord and then kind of come up with like the name for it? Because I just got super blue in this room all of a sudden, which is what just happened with the lighting. But yeah, thank you, Lander. Thank you very much. So if we think of that root note C, right? There's just the first note in the scale. It's really important to learn a major scale, whether it's just like that, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, or you can do it 3 notes per string style, which me and my man Davi, who is about to slay St. Armand's and probably get 50 million more views, 3 notes per string style, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. See how that's the same thing? Now again, this is more of a reach, that 4 fret reach, which I definitely couldn't have done the first year or 2 that I played guitar. But just being able to see it, where instead of going like 1, the 2nd note, and the 3rd note, that kind of move right there where it's just, you have your root note, the 5th fret, slide it into the 7th fret. And thinking of those 3 notes, C, D, E, as notes that are going to be in a scale or in a chord or in a line, I think is really valuable to your playing. And that's something that every time I play live as part of the acoustic duo stuff that I do, I always use something like that to kind of put in between chords and stuff. So what I mean by that is, let's say I go from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret to the 7th fret to the 5th fret on the D string to the 7th fret on the D string and then back. Okay, so that's a very, very simple line. 1, 2, 3, 4. The difference between the 4th and the 5th notes that I'm playing, I'm getting a little hammer on, and then back. So C, D, slide to E, G, A. Okay, so if we were to number these into scale, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Now we could go forward and then add the 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, back, right? And I think it's like, all right, well, that's fine. It's just an arpeggio. It doesn't really sound musical. But any major chord you can do this stuff with. So like if I'm playing like a C to G, which is so common, whatever key you're in, just a 1 to a 5, you can be using a capo or whatever. Play it with open chords. To G. Whether you're playing bar chords or open chords, you can start with this. So you kind of just kind of like moving around like that. I always think it kind of adds a little bit of something to it. And then you want to go overboard, like, you know, if you're playing with a singer, like I usually am playing with, you know, Andrea, Kindred, Katie. Sometimes I sing myself. More Sean singing coming soon, by the way. Stay tuned on the channel this month. It's gonna be lit. Got a cool project coming up. You can add that stuff into taste, right? So if you're singing here, whatever, right? You're just finishing up a phrase. And then, you know, you kind of just fill that space with something. And I feel like that makes it a little more exciting than just, you know, C, sing, say whatever, G, right? C, then back to G. Blah, 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 blah. See, even just that, I think, does something, and it'll keep you engaged. And I've also found that it actually helps with my timing, and especially my timing in maybe more lead stuff when I'm just playing lead and I'm not playing rhythm guitar, right? So kind of having a little lick or something like that that comes from the chord, that comes from the scale, I think is really, it just helps fit it in time when you're doing it in a rhythmic way, right? And that's the difference between kind of playing something chord-based See, it's like if I were to play something out of time, I would notice. If I was like, vibe ruined, vibe check, totally ruined the vibe. Everybody was like, what was that? That was a terrible attempt at it. But if I'm practicing it with kind of that steady right hand, it can be simpler, like down, 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 up, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and, right? So again, those notes that I just kind of added in that spot are going to usually be played on time because you're setting your own groove, and generally you'll probably have a better time hitting those notes as long as you have a good idea of where you're going. So much of like falling out of time on an instrument is just not being totally confident about where you're gonna go. And I'm still guilty of this myself because in some of these marathon gigs, I'll do something that I normally wouldn't do. I'll be like, oh, let's try this to kind of keep myself engaged. And then I'll do something that I normally wouldn't do, and that's when I run the risk of potentially falling out of time or just breaking out of the zone of just kind of like keeping that nice steady beat. So being able to do something lead-wise that you could do while keeping a beat, I think is a great way to explore the fretboard and to kind of hit those notes in time in a way that you'll notice. And again, I just think that's a little better than maybe just like, all right, metronome click, metronome click, metronome click, da 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 da. When it's really the same thing, you know what I mean? It's not that different, but it's so much more of a vibe. See, and then you kind of just develop a better internal timing because you're feeling those hits, whether you're playing the notes or not. They just become kind of part of what you're doing. The next thing that I'll add, sorry, I'm getting behind on the comments. Carmel went great, by the way. Vlog's coming soon. The one thing that I've also found myself using a lot is octaves, playing around in octaves with this same kind of format, right? So if I'm just jamming on that C chord, I've got that little riff that we talked about, 3, 5, 7, 5D, 7 back, and I do the same thing on the G. Well, if I do the same thing, see, that's, maybe that's a little, I don't know, a little hokey. I'm kind of doing the exact same thing on just a different chord. Sounds hokey, sounds kind of cheesy, corny, or whatever, but you can maybe use that same idea to play something else. So I know that G, A, B, D, and E, the 3rd, 5th, 7th fret of the E string, and the 5th fret and the 7th fret of the A string, are those notes that I want to use. Well, since those notes are in that key, they're in that chord, one thing that you can do, especially when you're playing acoustic guitar, is double those notes up with an octave, because it's always going to sound good. It's the same note, just higher, so it sounds a little bit more like a chord. Okay, so the way you do that is like, all right, instead of playing 3, 5, 7, you'd go 3E and 5D, and then 5E, and then the same spacing, that 2-fret spacing. So you can kind of explore that within a G chord spot. See? And I think that gives you a little bit of variety where it doesn't sound hokey at the same time, as far as just always doing the same thing. But also these, you know, work together. You could kind of combine them back to back. So that's one thing I do a lot that is like, it's really, I think it's kind of simple conceptually. It might be a little harder to jump into those forms and play them in time. But it, you know, it makes an acoustic song sound a little bit more like it has a riff to it, when really you're not adding anything arrangement-wise to the song that isn't already there. You know what I mean? If you're playing a G chord, you're already playing G, B, and D. So all you're doing is octaving those notes. Maybe even all in the same string. G, B, D, 3, 7, 10. You know, that's just a different way to play a G chord. A more exciting way to play a G chord, if what you're doing calls for that. You know what I mean? A lot of the time, just stick on a G chord and it sounds fine. Anyways, to the comments. Let's see what we got. Teach me the E7 chord all over the fretboard. Oh, that's interesting. We'll start here, E7. Super easy, right? 2 on the A string, 1 on the G string. I think the best way to maybe do that is to just take root position chords all over the place. So whereas the E on the A string be the 7th fret, so you know, you could just get a couple different options there. You could do like a bar chord, or I think it's always easier to make a 7 voicing like this. 7A, 6D, 7G. So E7, A7, and B7 voicings all around the fretboard. We can do the same thing. We do E7. And again, if you were to root it on the low E string, this is probably my favorite dominant 7 chord voicing on the E string, is the same thing. Isn't it funny how the thing just keeps changing to super blue to regular color? I don't know, that lighting here is always keeping things interesting. But A7, okay? We've got 5E, 4D, 5, or 4A, 5D, 6 on the G string. So I'm just getting the lowest 4 strings, and then 2 frets higher would be B7, right? So A to B. All right, so there's 2 different dominant 7 chord voicings. One thing that I really like playing now, maybe more than I used to, are dominant 9 chords. So again, this is, we're thinking like a blues in E, when we have an E, A, and B, and they're all 7 chords, right? So you can be basic and play E7 to A7 to E, then B, that's just using kind of like those super clean voicings all over the place. But if we take a E9 voicing, I think that really adds a lot of character to a song. And that's the same thing that we talked about rooting on the A string. In fact, let's just take a 5 to a 1. B7 to E9, okay? Look how easy that is. Sounds great, and it sounds way different than B7 to E7. So again, if we're on that same B7 we were just talking about, where we have B7, E, 6, A, 7, D, 8, G, just kind of take your pinky off, move everything else down a fret, so now we're on the E, we're rooted on the E, and then just take your ring finger and get those bottom 3 strings, and that's E9. Love E9. It's E7 just with another F sharp or something like that, right? Sounds so good. I love a 9 chord as a replacement for a dominant 7 chord. In fact, you could always kind of use these, you know, if you want to use these on the B too. You can even take the root out and make it like a... Okay, and that's kind of an interesting thing that I always think sounds cool as a replacement, and it's super easy to do, especially when you get that something like that where we have, again, there's that E9. Maybe take your pinky, grab the 9th fret on the high E string. And I think that's kind of a way to keep it bluesy, but maybe a little more interesting. So yeah, all about the 9 stuff. Derek Shack, your IQ is not low. If you're barely hanging 9, you're doing a good job. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff is, it gets complicated talking about if you don't have like a fundamental understanding of like how to build chords and how to make arpeggios and whatnot to go into that stuff, you know. Very daunting if you haven't thought about that kind of thing before, because the beautiful thing about guitar is you can just pick up a guitar and after like a day, you can play E minor and A minor, right? So you can start off really, really quickly, and then maybe you start adding a chord like a C and a G and a D. And again, those get easier with time, but the disservice you're doing yourself is like when you first play an E minor chord, you don't think that it's an E, a G, and a B note, right? And that's something that was a huge weakness in my playing. Like I played for probably 5 years, and I feel like I was good by my standards at the time. I thought I was like, oh, I could play Stairway to Heaven because I like spent hours just on the tab, and I was like, oh, I can play Stairway. I'm like as good as Jimmy Page. You know what I mean? Had no idea how to build anything, how to like really write other than just kind of trial and error, which was fine. You know, I still had a lot of fun playing the instrument, but it wasn't until people started asking me to teach, because I think I have like I don't know, I feel like I have a personality that lends itself to teaching. So when people found out that I played guitar well enough, they wanted me to teach, and then I was like, yeah, cool, sure, why not? So I started teaching more, but then when I started like doing it professionally, I was like, I should learn how this stuff works. So that's when I taught myself kind of music theory and chord building and how arpeggios work into that stuff. And it just gets so much easier. So it's just you learn a little bit at a time, you know what I mean? Like even somebody asking, E7, A7, B7, all on the neck. How do we put it together? You know, that can be like a lot. Like why, like your question might be, why those 3 chords? Well, those are the 3 notes that you'll find mostly in popular songs, like an E, an A, and a B. If we just go through the alphabet, right? E, F, G, A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. A 1, 4, and a 5 are really kind of the primary foundational chords that like a lot of blues music is based on, a lot of popular Western music is based on. And it's like, maybe that's just all you take. It's like, all right, 1, 4, and 5 is a thing that is kind of bluesy, and turn those into 7 chords. And then that has like that sound, right? And maybe that's all you take from it, and that's cool. And then, you know, next time you see something, all right, well, what if I do want to do something in the key of C? Just take 1, 4, and 5 and C. C, D, E, F, G, C7, C9, F9, G, F, C. And then it's like, all right, well, now these all kind of make sense together as groups. And then you just keep learning, and it gets so much easier. It gets so much easier, I'm telling you. So don't ever, whatever. Andrea taught Sean everything he knows. Oh, I've learned a lot from Andrea. No doubt about that. I learn more and more every single day. All right. Tuned in 11 minutes after you began. Hyvibe, good for you. Thank you. Yeah, this is definitely cool. I'm stoked to check out this guitar in depth. This is a smart guitar, okay? So this is why you get this guitar. But again, that's going to be coming soon, because I have no idea how this works. But I'm going to learn it, and I'm going to make a video probably next week about it. Right now, we're just going to vibe with it. Oh, C minor. Same way, played my Strat. I always go to the top 2 positions on the selector switch. Yeah, of course. How else would you play a Strat? Those other positions are just whatever. Oh, thank you, Jolly Moose, for the kind words. You find yourself only playing Hendrix on a Strat? Yeah, I mean, I get it. Although, playing Hendrix on an acoustic guitar definitely is a great way to kind of like improve your finger strength. You know, kind of like that kind of thing, where you get those double stops. I think playing double stops on an acoustic guitar is like another pretty important thing to do. Hi, Sean. Can you make a video of the songs to perform live in 2021, like crowd pleasers? Great question, Bashar. Man, yeah. So let's see. What are the most current? You know, Amy Winehouse is big. Valerie is definitely the most requested song that we get live. By a pretty wide margin. It's kind of interesting because, again, that's Mark Ronson featuring Amy Winehouse. People just kind of think of it as an Amy Winehouse song. And it's super easy to play. I think I definitely teach this on my Patreon, too. It's really just D, then E minor. That's most of the song. Well, sometimes I go out by myself and look upon the water. That's it. Just does that for a while. Then G, bum, 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 then to F sharp minor, back to G major. However you want to play it, back to F sharp minor 7. Why don't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of A. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie. So that's a super requested one that everybody should know, because that's the whole song, right? There's 2 parts. The verse and the chorus are the same thing, just D to E minor. You can fancy it up, D major 7. Add that little horn bop that they do in the Ronson song of it, the Ronson version of it, and then I play E minor 9 to kind of like just make it different, make it a little bit more of how I generally try to play stuff. Right? D major 7, E minor, then down, G. You can just do power chords. Bum, 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 down to F sharp power chord, back to G major power chord, F sharp power chord. Why don't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. This part is really great. So it's just an A chord, but we're gonna have the 2nd fret on the B string, which is a C sharp, so the major 3rd of A. We're gonna go chromatically up. We're gonna walk it from a C sharp to a D sharp to a E, the 5th of A, which leads us back to D. So that's a really great one to learn, and it's super easy to play. A lot of singers enjoy singing that song because it's a song that I would say is fairly easy to sing a version of it. Again, singing it like Amy Winehouse is impossible, but anybody can sing a version of Valerie because it's kind of all like here, you know what I mean? Like if I can sing it, you can sing it, you know what I'm saying? And it's just D to E minor. You could easily bring that down, just make it C to D minor if that's too high for you in D, right? Sometimes I go out by myself and I look upon the water. And then everything would just be down. Bum, 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 bum. So again, it's all kind of like right there. So I think that would be a great one for people to kind of learn if you wanted to maybe catch people's attention playing live, something like that. All right. Another one. Dreams, Fleetwood Mac. People love that song so much, and I'm so sick of it. I'm so sorry. I love Fleetwood Mac, one of my all-time favorite pop bands, but so sick of it. Because it's just F to G, F to G. You've just learned how to play Dreams. It's just F to G. Bum, 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 bum. Crystal vision. I'll try to do things to keep myself occupied. Oh, just from the earlier lesson. Every time I play Dreams, I'm literally going through every single chord voicing I know from F to G. It ends up going, at some point, it'll go F. Dreams played F major 9 to G9 does not sound like Dreams. But it's gone there in the past. So yeah, Fleetwood Mac is big. Why don't you and Davidas do a combo show together? Live Florida stream. I think we might have something coming up for you. Stay tuned, especially now that the world is opening up again. Let us know what you guys think of a Davidas / Emeryld Ryders / Sean Daniel or / Andrea and Sean combo show and where we should host that. Because we're ready to do it. It's just kind of lining up a venue it can be difficult if it's not in our hometown. So we're both gonna be in Nashville in the middle of next month for Summer NAMM, and we're gonna look into some things. I just got back from Los Angeles, and there's some venues there that we can kind of like rent out and do like smaller shows, like 100-person shows. But we definitely want to start doing that. Like we want to, like me and Davidas are. I think we're kind of like performers first and YouTubers second, even though YouTube is like mainly what we do and what we're known for. Like we both really want to be out performing our songs. So definitely that is coming this year. It's just kind of finding the best way to do it. You know what I mean? Does anyone ever request mbop? No, I don't think anybody has ever requested mbop, I guess. The cutest song was when the girls were playing the electronic drums on that. Sounds too good to be true, can't take my eyes off of you. Oh yeah, can't remember the name of the song. Yeah. It's too good to be true. Isn't it Just Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, that's a fun song to play, for sure. Howdy from Missouri. How will you get the sign on the plane? Oh, the giant Davidas sign? Yeah, that thing... That's a great sign. Whoever the subscriber is, I forgot the name of the guy who made that for him, but incredible sign. I'm gonna have to get a rider sign like that to match it. What are the guitar chords of Going Under? Really like your synth version of that song. You should do some more songs with the synthesizer. Love the channel. Thank you, JJ Swanson. Yeah, I do believe that a lot of the sound for the stuff with Andrea is gonna be more, it'll just be more modern. I don't want to say it's going to be synth heavy, But the sound of synthesizers, I think, really work great in collaboration with guitar, especially a certain type of synth that is becoming more prevalent modern, that isn't so much like an 80s cheesy synth, like the stuff that we did with the Going Under version that JJ is talking about, which I really love how that turned out. Again, please stream the music. It really helps when you guys stream the music, whatever it is. We're really happy with how the new Ryders album turned out. All the Andrea and Sean singles, I think, are sounding better and better. And we've got a really cool opportunity coming up in Los Angeles to actually work with like a legit producer, probably near the end of July, to do some stuff. But yeah, Going Under, that's one of my favorite songs that I play, that me and Andrea did a version. Got a foot in the grave and an eye on the door, one bad feeling and a dozen more. That's how Andrea sings it. She sings it a little bit more chill. Whereas I'm like, got a foot in the grave and an eye on the door, one bad feeling and a dozen more, looking in my direction, calling me a fraud. So I sing it higher, but it's the same chords essentially. It's just D minor, F to G, all right? If you want to be a true boss, play something in a key, but don't ever play the one chord. That's the secret, guys. D minor, F, G. That's pretty much the entire song, right? There is a bridge where it's like, hold on, gotta hold on now, as it crumbles around me. Hold on, gotta hold on now to the devil now that has found me. I can't help myself from going under. Again, this is the chill version. I can't help myself from going under. But the whole thing is pretty much D minor, F, G. The bridge, the hold on, gotta hold on now, as it crumbles around me. It's funny, like, not screaming it and trying to sing it. This is octaves, D, C, octave, F, F, G. And then that G sharp, G, F deal. Those are just octaves. And I know I just said avoid the one chord. I'm sure there's a C octave, but whatever. That's it. That's the whole song. It's great. But in the synth version, I think it's like, I think I played it like that. I think that's what I did. It's been a while since I've even like. So that's like a representation of D minor, F, G, D minor, F, G, D, 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 C, A, F, power chord, G, power chord. And then just go to the higher F and G. So that's kind of like a riff way to play it, because, so right there, that 5, 5, 5, 3, A, that's just a D minor chord, because remember, D minor is D, F, and A. You want to get that C in there, that's representative of a D minor 7. There's minor 7 to the 5th, F chord, G chord. Been learning a lot there in Norway. Hey, thank you. That is so cool. Every time you hear that song, you can't help but think of For Dad in Ohio. You know what's funny? Like, a lot of people have said that. Apparently, like, that's like a Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young song, right? You know what's funny? I never heard that song. I like, of course, I've heard the song, and maybe, you know, subconsciously it was like there just doing things that caused me to write it like that. But all I can consciously remember, honestly, from, again, subconscious, I can't speak for that, is I only know the chorus from that For Dad in Ohio thing. And it wasn't until people were like, oh, that sounds a lot like For Dad in Ohio, that I actually listened to the song. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess. Kustu, what's going on, man? How's it going, buddy? Great to see everybody. You were with Moses when he parted the Dead Sea. That's interesting. Good times, right? What's happening, Justin Hayes? Oh, Justin, what a man. How much of a difference can the quality of a guitar and the strings make when it comes to the sound you create when playing it, or does it still all depend on you as a player? Great question, okay? First of all, I want to say I do not know what kind of strings these come with. I should probably know, because, man, they don't feel like elixirs. Usually I play elixirs. They do feel coated. 12s. The strings of the guitar definitely make a difference. It's it's so funny, like, it's so stupid to be like, well, it just depends. But usually that's the answer. I would say that, the sound that you're getting definitely comes from you as a player more than anything. Like, I was just playing that Journey carbon fiber guitar like the whole last month, because Journey kind of helped sponsor that trip out to Florida that me and Andrea took. And basically I had that thing pretty much everywhere that we traveled. And over time, it's like, that's a smaller guitar with a neck that kind of pops off and stuff. And a lot of people think that's more of a novelty thing, but honestly, I felt like I was getting pretty good sound out of that guitar, even though it was like a smaller travel carbon fiber guitar. And I still felt like I kind of sounded like myself. Whether that's good or bad, it's up to you guys. But a lot of it just comes to the player, you know what I mean? How you really kind of choose to attack the strings is so important for your voice. Like, I feel like I could probably diagnose my sound as a player on this guitar, which I think is upwards of $1,000. I have to double check that. The Taylor 614, which is upwards of $3,000. The Donner guitar acoustic that I have, which is $100. All the acoustic stuff, I can definitely hear myself as a player playing that just from, the technique, I suppose. The strings, I think, matter, but I think it matters more in a feel way. Like, I do feel like coated versus uncoated strings do have a different sound. I really prefer the elixirs. I prefer the elixirs less for the sound and more for the feel. But again, the feel of the strings is going to affect how I attack the strings and how my fingers kind of like grab things and slide. That kind of sliding, squeaking sound being eliminated is a big dynamic for acoustic strings. Electric strings, I really couldn't tell you. Like, honestly, I'm not, and I play a good amount of electric guitar, but I'm so much more attuned to the differences in acoustic guitar strings and how they feel, and not necessarily how they sound. I remember we did an acoustic guitar string shootout like a long time ago with like all the main ones, and I remember I liked the clear tone reds the best sound wise, but they didn't feel as good as the Elixir nano webs that I usually use. And that's a no-brainer for me. I'll take the Elixirs 10 times out of 10 over those clear tone reds. Even those reds were really great, it just didn't feel like the Elixirs, and that's just kind of home to me, and I don't feel like it makes such a huge difference. As far as the quality of the guitar, it's amazing how some of these mass-produced overseas guitars sound. Like that Donner guitar that's like $150 I kind of used on the channel a few weeks ago. Awesome. Like, just like, it sounds so good. The difference to me for the quality guitars is, one, the electronic components, if it's like a plug-in system, which again, now most of the time live I have to plug in. The intonation and the setup that comes with, which you can always set up a cheaper guitar by yourself if you have those skills, or take it in somewhere that's really good at it. And also just how well it stays in tune, I think, is like the main thing. Like the Taylors that I've played are they're just the best. They never go out of tune. You know what I mean? I think the other guitar, like this one, again, I just took this out of the box, tuned it like one time, and it's still in tune, like how we're like almost an hour into this. So, I feel like other guitar manufacturers are really, really good at it. But I think that's traditionally one of the main differences I know in, like, expensive guitars. Some of the stuff that makes a guitar super expensive, I just am so not interested in at all. Like, once you get into a guitar with like solid top, awesome. You know what I mean? I think I'm definitely super pro solid top guitars over laminate guitars. Back and sides, I have not made my mind up. I feel like The guitar snob in me wants to say like all solid wood is the only way to go. But honestly, like I've played guitars that I thought were all solid wood, and they're laminate back and sides. I think that D'Angelico Tammany XL that I played in Los Angeles, that guitar is amazing. I love that guitar. And I thought it was all solid wood. I'm like, well, it makes sense. That's why I like it. And then I researched it, and I'm like, oh, the edition that I have is actually laminate back and sides. And I was surprised. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not like a tone woods connoisseur. I'm more of a, believe it or not, I am kind of like more of a minimalist when it comes to like just give me any guitar. I'm not picky. As long as the action is good and it stays in tune, I'm golden. So, you know. Someone said guitar unboxing. Yes. At the beginning of this video, I unboxed this guitar. So I can't re-unbox it for people who are new to the stream. But you can rewind, even though it's kind of like spoiler alert, here it is. Yeah, good stuff. You just bought a bass today, your first instrument, so I'm hoping to learn it now. Very cool. I have some bass lessons on the channel. If you just type in Sean Daniel bass, I get down on the bass. There's other really great bass channels out there. I know Scott's Bass Lessons, I think, was one that I kind of watched when I was first kind of trying to learn bass, and he has some really cool lessons, so check that out for sure. But congratulations on the bass. I can't seem to finish a song, just keep tiffing but never get anywhere. So frustrating. Could you give an example of any Van Morrison style and alternating between lead and rhythm? Well, that seems to be like a lot of questions in one, am I right? So yeah, finishing a song is something that that's tough. I think every songwriter struggles with that. I think it's time to know when to put something away. You know, I think it's kind of funny. I guess something that I heard once that resonated with me from an artist that I'm so unlike, Prince, right? Massive respect to Prince, but it's never really been my style. Nothing against the guy. I mean, the guy's legit like a legend. You know what I mean? But he said that like he's got so many unfinished songs that he just took as far as he could take them and then just let them go. And that's something that I really understand and resonate, because like you get to a point with the song where like, you know, you just feel like you're really trying hard and you can't push through it. And that could just be, you know what, maybe that song was just, that's as far as it was meant to go. I think personally, most of what I consider my best songs happened pretty quickly, you know, like written in a day for sure. But I've got other songs that like maybe I came back to like a long time later and I was able to finish and polish up. But definitely the latter of those two categories, whenever I play them or I hear them, I can hear the nuts and bolts that went into it. Whereas like what I consider some of my better songs, I feel like just really kind of came out. And I think a lot of that was just being present to try to write songs. And then like if I do get inspired to like start something, to really try and push myself to finish it then in that moment. Or at least sketch it out in a way that I can edit it instead of finishing it. You know what I mean? Because I think there's a big difference between editing a finished song, which is something that I think anybody can do, and I think you'll be able to do a good job of if you put time into it, rather than pausing a song and picking it up later. So I would say if you're inspired to begin a song, try to finish it like ASAP. Even if it's like something painfully bad lyrically, just have something as a placeholder, because once you have something that is just kind of like done and bad, I think it's easier to turn that with some, you know, creative editing into something that can be good if it doesn't just end up being good the whole way. That's kind of, you know, just how I feel like I've written personally. But again, everybody's different. I know like a lot of people, like songwriting is a process that can just, you know, they just keep chipping away at it over and over again. But I think the frustrating part of it is like what you're saying, like you just don't seem like you can finish it. So just finishing some things just for the sake of finishing them, there can be value in that. But also it's like if it's just not happening, there's no shame in putting it away. You know what I mean? Some songs weren't meant to be finished. They were just meant to, I don't know, help you get experience in the whole process. So the next time when you find yourself in that situation, you might be more prepared to actually just kind of finish it and then edit it later to try and make it better. That would be my advice. Is 17 late to start guitar? Well, wouldn't you know, 17 is exactly how old I was when I started guitar, so absolutely not. Absolutely not too late to start guitar. No, it's never too late to start guitar. Rich Johnson is trying to work up the energy to practice. It is hot in Chi-Town today, and he's whooped. Yeah, hear you on that, man. It's like 100 degrees in Florida today. But then, you don't have to, like, don't make it seem like practice is, like, a chore. Just pick up the guitar and then just... just jam, noodle, whatever, and then if you're not feeling it, put it away. If you feel a little burst of energy, maybe turn it into something more official, practice-wise. You could check out my Patreon and just watch videos and become more intelligent just from soaking in that kind of information. Yeah, see, Rich just started at 45, so come on, man. Yeah, 3-card Monty started taking lessons at 50. Never too late to start. My man Emil has just got his bass guitar. That's what's up. What kind of bass did you get, by the way? What'd you end up going with? Because I'm gonna do another bass lesson soon. Court sent me a bass. They asked if I would do a lesson on it, and I was like, yeah, sure. So I'll probably try to get that up within the next week too. See, Billy Joel? Come on, man. Yeah. You're not crap. You're rocking it. The fact that you have such great taste in YouTube channels means that you're doing an excellent job right now, right? Yeah, I don't think you started late at all. You know what I mean? I think the advantage to starting at like 8 or 9 is like 8 or 9-year-olds suck at everything, right? So when they suck at guitar, they're not thrown off by it. I think starting as an adult, there is a tendency to get more frustrated because you suck at something. Because it's like, all right, well, I can communicate clearly. There are some things that I can do as an adult. I'm surviving in the world. It hurts to go back and suck. Because everybody sucks at first, you know what I mean? So I think that is an advantage for kids learning to play at a young age, is they're not daunted by that first kind of thing. And therefore, I think maybe they kind of dive into it a little more fearlessly in general. That could just be a generalization, but you never really know. But yeah, I think, if you're thoughtful about that as an adult and just know that it's definitely not that you're bad at it. It's like everybody is bad at first, and then just kind of, setting your expectations from there. I think you'll do a lot better. Know what I'm saying? Oh, what did you get? You started some cheap stuff, but you went for the Fender amp. Very cool. One of the Fender Rumble amps, or which one did you get? I remember my first bass amp was like a Fender Rumble, and that was awesome. I barely use the bass amp anymore. I have like an Ampeg, one of the ones with like the flip top, and it's great, but that's only for like live jamming, which I very rarely do. But yeah, that's cool. Oh, Jeffrey too. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Didn't see you there, Jeffrey. What's going on, man? Hope you're having a good day, Jeffrey. For sure. Is there any sort of order to watch the lessons on your channel that flows logically? No, absolutely not. The thing about just making YouTube video lessons, and kind of like the dirty game of YouTube, I was going to talk about this on the QA next week, how it's like my titles have changed over the years. How they used to be like, learn how to play G major arpeggios. Right? And then I would teach what it says in the title. But then now YouTube is so like, they don't show your videos to your subscribers first. They show them to 80% of people who are not subscribed to you. So if they haven't seen you, they don't know what they're going to get. So you have to trick strangers into watching you to get your videos shown to subscribers, which I have an issue with. But again, I'm not in charge, so I'm not going to be too upset about it. It's out of my control. But that's why there's no order to the YouTube videos, because I just try to make them 10 to 12 minute videos that I think I can clearly express an idea. And that was originally one of the reasons that in the last year I started the Patreon, was to make an ordered way to do the lessons. Aside from making money, obviously, you know what I mean? It's great. I thank everybody who supports me on Patreon. But yeah, aside from it just being like a supplementary income thing, I definitely wanted to have something that logically made sense in order, you know. So again, I think it's hard to do things in a series on YouTube too, because like if I was gonna say like, you know, your first, I don't know, like a 10 video series on the modes or something, which is like something that I did when I first started YouTube like 4 or 5 years ago, and that video series did really well. What would happen now if it was like video 3 and like the modes, and it was like, okay, today we're gonna learn about beef Phrygian or something like that, right? YouTube would show that to people who aren't subscribed, people who haven't seen videos 1 and 2, so then it would have a low click-through rate, and then they wouldn't show the video to people who watch videos 1 and 2. So it's like, that's why I think you've seen less sequential series on YouTube in the last like year or so, just because of that very reason. So yeah, sorry that there's not like a better way to order that kind of stuff, but you know, that's kind of out of my control. My man Sean Hockey loves the Jeep shirt. Oh, here's the wave, you got it? Man, that's the other thing about California. So I was riding in my rowdy Ford Escape, 2011 Ford Escape, got the job done, took us up and down the coast of California, put a lot of miles on that the last month. But I missed my Jeep. I legitimately missed it. I missed it as if it were a lover. And I got home today, I got it washed, and then I just kind of just looked at it and I was like, it's good to be back. I'm such a simp for Jeep Wranglers. It's so funny. So y'all can flame me as much as you want. Doesn't matter. That Jeep Wrangler brings joy to my life, and it always will. So thank you. Denny's guitar cover watches for the jokes. Thank you. I'll try to keep the jokes coming. I disappoint myself when I don't feel like I have a good joke. And a lot of times the jokes that I think are the best are actually the least well received jokes. But yeah. Good morning. It is 5 a.m. in Nepal. Hey, welcome to the morning hours, people. That's excellent. Have I spoken with Samurai or Adam Neely lately? I wonder if they've changed the photo you guys swapped out. All right, little inside baseball. I have spoken to Samurai yesterday, and I didn't really speak to Neely, but I asked him if he was going to Summer NAMM, and he's not going to be at NAMM. But I do know that Neely's photo is not there. So in case you missed the reference, when I went to GitCon, like what was this, like 3 years ago? Warwick and Framus flew out a bunch of guitar YouTubers. So that's where I met Adam Neely, and I became really good friends with Samurai guitarist, my boy Sammy G. If you're out there, I miss you dearly. Love you, brother. And me, Neely, and Samurai, we printed out 8x10 pictures of ourselves, and we replaced the Wall of Fame photos in the Warwick factory with like people who are like actually like legitimately like successful great artists. So I remember Neely replaced Lee Sklar. He just put his photo over. We took the pictures out. Just type in Sean Daniel GitCon, and you'll see like you'll see the vlog, because it was pretty funny. It was definitely an undercover ops. So Neely took out Lee Sklar. I took down Devin Townsend. I forget who Samurai did, but Samurai's picture is still legendary. Lee Sklar has since replaced Neely, even though Neely deserves his own at this point. But me and Samurai still adorn the wall in the Warwick Framus factory. So that was a good time. I love those guys. They're great. I'm super happy for all their successes. You know what I mean? So your 2011 Escape is rusting. Power for the course, salted rose on court. Yeah, Chicago. Yeah, it's tough driving a car in the Midwest. Tires go and it rusts and stuff. But with that Corona lockdown, you had to have missed your singers. Well, we had a couple of them in the bubble squad for sure. Story is very sad. Well, you got your bass as your good friend was a professional bass player, and he passed away 2 months ago, and I loved him playing, but never learned how. So I want to learn for him. You know, you know what? That's not sad. That's beautiful, man. Honor the memory of it. So definitely keep it going, because I think that's such a great tribute that you're kind of in the middle of. You know, so congratulations. You know, I've lost people in the last year too, and one thing that really helps me get through it is thinking of it that way, to like, you know, just try to do something that would have made them happy and to kind of like honor their memory. You know what I mean? Like the song Watchmaker that is on the new Emeryld Ryders thing is about my grandma passing, and I thought that was like really, I don't know, that was meaningful for me to have written about her, and that was one of the things that kind of helped me out was just kind of really, really taking a positive spin on that, even in a tough year. You know what I mean? So keep rocking, because that definitely would have made your bass player boy or girl or whoever super happy and proud of you. Do any other car owners wave to each other besides Jeep owners? Not that I know of. I think it's, as we like to say, it's a Jeep thing. No big deal. How it's so obnoxious to non-Jeep Wrangler drivers. It's a Jeep thing. It sounds so pretentious just to say, right? Jeep thing, but it truly is. So yeah, that's I'm gonna stick with that for sure. Music brings us all together. Love the sweatshirt. Tops and doors currently off the Jeep as the huge storm is making it tough. Yeah, so sadly I have my top and sides up on my Jeep right now because I just had to get it washed, and also I have a show at a new place tomorrow, Bavaro's Pizza in Sarasota. Me and Andrea are rocking out from 6 to 9. If you're in the area, come check us out. And it might be raining tomorrow, so transporting the Bose rig and the guitars and stuff it's a little like rolling the dice if the top is down. Usually I do roll it top down, but because of the tropical storm, top's up. Sorry guys, it broke my heart to do it, but you know, Subaru owners have to wave. Really? Subaru owners wave? I didn't know that. That's cool. My thing is, I don't know if I'm supposed to wave at the Jeep Gladiators, the Jeep truck, right? But when you're coming right at them, you can't tell that it's a Gladiator until you get close enough where you can see the back. So I always mistakenly wave to the Gladiator drivers. And then I feel like a fool because they still haven't released a memo of if we're, you know, gonna do that. And you should buy a Jeep just to have people wave at you, because as an attention-seeking narcissist, I needed that. Just kidding, not an attention-seeking narcissist. But definitely, if any of you guys can help me get on the Hallmark channel for holiday season 2022, that's in the works. Gonna have my SAG card by the end of the month. Don't want to be an actor, just want to be in a Hallmark movie. That's it. Maybe if we can incorporate me as the Jeep driving douche boyfriend at the beginning that gets dumped, that would make my dream come true. So if any of you have any contacts for agents that represent Hallmark TV actors, I need you guys to rally the troops. Even if you just know a friend of a friend. We're just putting the word out. We're putting the vibe out. And I'm going to see you all on the Hallmark channel 2022 Christmas, or even 2021 if we can make it in time, but I feel like that's not gonna be what's up. Aaron Short, my guy, good to see you. Yes, I am gonna be at Summer NAMM. I'm gonna be there. Davidas is gonna be there. Andrea's coming with me. We're gonna be there repping Taylor. Who else do I know is gonna be there? My man Mike from Become the Night is gonna be there. Who else do I know? I'm drawing a blank right now. But yes, gonna be at Summer NAMM. So hope to see you there, buddy. I'm not supposed to. The truck owners don't want the wave? Is this true? Can I trust you about this? What are songs that you learned that made things click for you or helped you get better as a guitarist? I think the number one song that I learned that really improved my playing drastically was Little Wing by Jimi Hendrix, you know. Like that whole thing, being able to play like that blew my mind, because I remember this was back when I lived, I was like 17, 18. I was living in Michigan at the time, my parents' house. I would go in the basement to practice the guitar because I didn't want anybody to hear me because I was so bad. But I printed out the tablature from Ultimate Guitar. And it's so funny because it's like, all right, you start on 12 D, G, and B. And then you slide back. To where? Doesn't say where. You just slide back. And then you start on 5A and 5D. And then hammer on to 5-7 and 5D. And then 5D and 5G. Then 5-7. And it's like, okay, that's a lot. But I remember memorizing all, I was like really committed to learning how to play Little Wing, because it's just as, you know, before before I even knew that it was almost kind of like a meme, like on your guitar journey to learn that song, I like just really wanted to learn it because it's my favorite Hendrix song, just from like getting into Hendrix and learning guitar. So I really memorized that entire tablature thing, and through the course of like memorizing it, the forms started to come into just my muscle memory, kind of like this. Like that, really, there's a connection between these double stops. In fact, just type if you want to type Sean Daniel Little Wing, because I really go through exactly how I remembered how to play Little Wing and how it opened my mind in a much more detailed way that I'll do right now. But seeing that and then being like, that's the A minor pentatonic scale that everyone tells me to learn, but no one's told me why to learn that. And then it's like, okay, that's the G major scale that everyone also told me to learn, but nobody told me why. It's like, now I finally see that like these double stops are coming from the minor pentatonic. These interesting little hammer-on things over a G bar chord are coming from the G major scale, like at a single note. And I think it was really from kind of poring over those tablature sheets and kind of seeing those forms kind of jump off the page onto my fingers was definitely the most important lesson I had early on in my playing journey. I do think learning Elliott Smith songs was another huge eye-opener for me, especially the song Condor Avenue. And that said, like, now I can't even remember. Yeah, that was a big one, because like I had the same experience. I was looking at a tab, none of it was making sense. Why am I There it is. Now it's coming back. I haven't played this song in years. E major, B slash F sharp. Seeing stuff like that move right there. That's like, that was, I'm like, wait, what is this? I can't even play it slow. I keep screwing it up. But seeing those kind of movements that were so different from anything that I've ever seen from like the rock stuff, you know, the Hendrix, Zeppelin, classic rock stuff that I kind of was really into when I first started playing guitar. It was so different and eye-opening that it really kind of forced my hand to get into positions that I was so uncomfortable with in a very frustrating way. But that's why one piece of advice that I give people when it's like, oh, I'm just kind of feel like I've plateaued, learn a totally different genre. You know what I mean? Like, I always think that like Brazilian music is great because like bossa nova style is so different from like rock style as far as like the hand shapes that you use, that it'll really kind of open up just like a whole different world. So yeah, just like different songs that I've learned, Hendrix, Elliott Smith, and Joe Beam, Waters of March is a great one that I learned a lot, even just kind of semi-recently on how to play. And yeah, new genre stuff is always a great way to kind of get into it. Yeah, let's, what else we got? What, tip-off is in 30 minutes? I'm just waiting, like I said at the top of the video, we're waiting until the Bucks take down the Nets. The Bucks need to take down the Nets. If anybody's interested, I'm pulling for Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns the rest of the way, because I went from being a Chris Paul hater to a Chris Paul super fan. But am I going to buy a nice leather coat when I'm in Nashville? Bob Dylan was asked if he had a good quote, and he said, yeah, a good quote, and he said, yes, I'm wearing it. right on. Probably not. I think the thing about NAMM is everybody's wearing leather coats, so that really turned me off to wanting like a nice leather coat. It's like I can't just be like everybody else. So we'll see what the NAMM wardrobe's gonna look like, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just go full Florida man and be like floral print shirt. You live in Michigan and we wave to everyone? I don't remember doing that when I lived in Michigan. I'm not sure about anyone here, but it's tough to move around the fretboard and not look where your fingers go, like moving down on the fretboard 5 frets plus. So bringing it back to GitCon, a really cool experience that I had was talking to Phil X, who, if you don't know who Phil X is like a ridiculously good guitar player, a very cartoon-like personality, just like awesome guy. Phil X was like a lot of fun to hang out with. And again, the dude tours with Bon Jovi, you know what I mean? So he knows what he's doing. And he said one thing that he did was he made a point to always know where the 5th fret is, right? To always just look down and be able to just hit that 5th fret whenever he could without looking. Practicing in the dark, whatever, putting like a little glow-in-the-dark sticker or something on the sideline, and then kind of moving around in relation to that. So it's almost like making that fret like a touchstone of something. So, you know, at this point, it's like, all right, if I know this is 5th fret, I know that this interval gets me to the 7th fret, a whole step. Then I have enough muscle memory to go another whole step from there, which gets me to 9. And then I can go back. There's 8, 10, 12. And then, you kind of start from one spot, and then it trains your ear too. Like I can slide into that spot because I know exactly what A minor sounds like. So my ear is helping my hand find the right location. And then once I get to that location, I kind of screwed up that way, but you get more comfortable with the fretboard once you have a touchstone that you go to. And then that's why learning licks is like something that you can do without having to look. And then you kind of always end up in the same spot, more or less. But yeah, that's some good advice from Phil X, who's the man. If you've ever forgotten a progression, do you fall back on theory to get back on track? Always. Always. That's why, when in doubt, 1, 4, 5, 6, right? No matter what chords are actually in the song. And, for someone like me who plays, we'll go through, a lot of songs during a set. And especially, when people are doing requests, and maybe it's a request that I think I know, and then I get to, a change, and I'm like, crap, I thought I knew this, but now I'm not so sure. I'm taking a stab at it. It's always a theory-aided guess that I'm doing, right? So, if you're in the key of C, 1, 4, 6, 5, C, F, A minor, G, right? And it always just kind of goes around there. And let's say, maybe I forget if it was a G. 1, 4, 6. That E minor, that could replace a G. You know what I mean? It's never so, as long as you hit a chord that's in the ballpark, it's not going to sound terrible. And as long as your singer is prepared, or if you are the singer, you can make it work. As long as you're not thrown off, which me and Kindred just do that all the time, actually. Kindred would just keep singing and look at me, and she's like, that's obviously the wrong chord, but I'm gonna keep doing my thing. And I'd be like, my bad, back on track. But theory always helps me out. I remember we were doing, maybe a week and a half ago, we were in Palm Springs, and we wanted to do Dirty Work by Steely Dan. I have not played that song in years, but I kind of knew what it sounded like. The funny thing is, I reverse engineered my memory of that song from that bum 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 bum. I'm fool to do your dirty work, oh yeah. And I don't want to do your dirty work no more. And I just knew. So it's all right, C. So it's where does this song start? It's well, does it start on a C? No, it's sadder. Does it start on the 6th chord, relative minor? It's yes. And then it's all right, now I remember it was an A minor, then you go a 4th up. D minor, G a 4th up, F a 4th up, back home to 5. You have sent the maid home early like 1,000 times before. And then usually 5 always leads you to 1, right? So if you're in a G chord, it's gonna be followed by a C chord. I'm a fool to do your dirty work no more. And that was all reverse engineered from just remembering that there was a little lead in there that wasn't even in the key. B flat isn't in the key of C, but that leads you to C. So from there, I was able to think of what I needed to do. And again, this may not even be in the key of C. This is the key that we play it in. Might not be the original key, but I'm sure I'll be corrected if that's true. But yeah, so theory definitely helps me out every single time I play, because you know, it's so much easier to use your ear and what you know about theory to kind of figure something out than it is to just memorize a million different things. Play a gig in Phoenix. Get us a gig in Phoenix, Randolph. Let us know where to play. Spread the word, and we'll be there. That's the cool thing, is we're ready to travel. We know what's up. I saw you played at Davidas' spot, starting a turf war. Yeah, Davidas can bring it. I don't think Davidas has what it takes to roll with me. That Poseidon statue is mine. Actually, I prefer playing at the Columbus statue, just for like ironic reasons. It's pretty funny. At St. Armand's, there's like a couple different spots to play. And you always make more playing at the other statue, tip-wise. But the Poseidon statue, I think, looks better in videos, which is why he goes to Poseidon. And I go on the other side. So maybe we will start a turf war, if that's what the people demand. May the best man win. I feel you, mate. I thought I was mad to learn bass for a tribute. No, man. Yeah, keep it going, dude. Chris Paul does rock, right? Does he have COVID? What's the story? I keep hearing these rumors. Is in the protocol? Does he have it or does he not? What's going on? What do I prefer better, bass or guitar? I prefer guitar for sure. Now, in the context of playing something live in a band, which I've played both live, playing bass in a band is just a lot of fun. Again, there are so many different ways you can play bass as a bass player, but I play bass mostly as a guitar player, playing bass, trying to sound like a bass player, if that makes sense. So I'll use my fingers, you know. It sounds awful. Doing that same stuff I talked about at the top, and then I'll tear my fingers up because I haven't played bass in forever. But there's something about just, especially when you're with the drummer, and being able to groove with the drummer live, that is just so chill about playing bass. So, you know, in the context of a band, bass is just so much fun to play. But I'm a guitar player at heart, you know what I mean? So I'm always gonna pick guitar, and especially in like, I just really like the acoustic duo vibe. Chill vibes are great. It's cool to rock it out too, but yeah, man, bass player is great. How to tell? Do you know how to tell when the stage is level? The bass player is drooling from both sides of his mouth. Yeah, that's excellent. See, well, you traveled to Nova Scotia. Yes, I would love to. Canada seems beautiful. I barely know Canada, but my boy Samurai lives there, so I want to visit him hopefully soon. They're really keeping the border closed another month, is what I just heard from him, because that sucks. Like, let's open it up, assuming it's safe. I'm not an expert at all, but I'm excited to be able to go see my bros, my Canadian bros. Man, who is your preferred luthier in the Sarasota area? Gosh, I don't really have one. You know, there's a spot in St. Pete that I go to now, 7 Seas Music, and they are the best. I kind of want to do a video with those guys because, like, they actually just fixed my Martin. If you've watched the channel for a while, I used to play a Martin for all my live gigs. GPC PA4, but the binding was coming off. This guitar just turned on. Sick. That's awesome. Yeah, so the binding was falling off. It was like just off. It was loose or something. And they fixed it, and those guys like know what's up. So 7 Seas Music, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. It's like the word 7 Seas. I don't know. 7 Seas Music in St. Pete. It's worth a 45-minute drive if you live in Sarasota, right? I've never tried a double bass. The double bass is like the biggest instrument. It's like the humpback whale of bass. She's your work wife. Who's my work wife? The bass guitar. That's right. Learning so much as always. Hey, thanks for watching, Francilla. When you busk, how do you determine your set list? Total vibe check. It's just, and honestly, for the live shows that we play, because there's so many different types of live shows. Like, Like right now, it's been me and Andrea the last few months playing live a few times a week. And you know, we have like a list. I have like a note on my phone that has all our songs that we know. But at this point, we've done it enough that I kind of have all those memorized. I don't really need to use my phone to see what songs we've done. Especially when Pasha, our violin player, is joining us, which is maybe like every other time he's able to make it out. That's just a lot of fun because we just kind of read the room and just pick something out. Because I think being fluid is the way to go for live. Now it's different if you're playing more of like a formal thing when like, all right, we have 20 minutes, we have 30 minutes, we have 45, whatever. We want to hit this, and this. But the shows that we play are usually more casual, especially the busking things. We'll just ask requests. If anybody has any requests, we'll try to take a stab at those. Otherwise, we'll just play songs that are fun for us. We play a lot of our original songs for sure at the paid gigs and at the busking gigs. We really try to sneak in as much of those as possible. In fact, the originals are generally the only ones that we'll even try to repeat, just because that's the mission. You know what I mean? Spreading the original music. So it's really just it's just the vibe check. Like I said. Could you give me the rundown of all the inversions of all the chords in the harmonic scale of D minor? What are the chords? All the chords in all the inversions? That's so if there's 7 chords, there's I guess 3 or 2 inversions in the main. That's 21 different. No, I can't do that right now. Maybe that could be a video or something. That'd be an interesting video. I don't even know it off the top of my head. Minor 6. A minor 6. Oh, you can get me a gig in Tempe? Really? All right. Randolph, please. Hey, email me and I'll respond to you because we want to start getting out on the road. So here's the email that I answer stuff from. If anybody has any potential gigs for me and Andrea, or me and Davidas even, we're ready. We're ready to rock and roll. Now that things seem to be safely open again, it's time. It's time to hit the streets. So SeanD1816@gmail.com. If you guys have any leads on either gigs or on me being able to get on a Hallmark holiday channel as the douche boyfriend who drives a Jeep Wrangler and gets dumped in the first part of the movie, please send all those to SeanD1816@gmail.com. Because it's time to take this show to the next level, guys. In every capacity, we're rocking it. Does Andrea play any instruments? That's a great question. In fact, you should go check out her channel today, Andrea Silvestro, #1 homie for life. She actually posted a video today where she is playing piano. Earlier today, I posted a video of us playing ukulele. So she plays guitar, keyboards, ukulele, and a little bit of drums too. So Andrea is super talented, incredible, and obviously the best singer in the world. If you were to ask me, of my opinion, who the best singer in the world is. So definitely check out Andrea because that's my girl, and you definitely don't want to miss what she's posting because it's straight fire. Why don't I write more songs about squirrels? How do you know that the songs I've written recently aren't about squirrels and they're just deeply metaphorical? You don't know that. So maybe I do write songs about squirrels. 10 minutes. I just got a message from my bro. 10 minutes till game time. Oh, I love it. Would I consider opening for someone? Yeah, of course. I have no ego about this stuff. I don't need to be a headline. I don't even have my name in it. We're just out there trying to, you know, just have a good time and spread the music, you know? So I'm so down for opening. In fact, I'd almost prefer to open. Isn't it opening... A 20-minute opening set for like a huge band, isn't that like the most cush gig ever? That's all I've ever wanted, right? I just want to make it on the festival tour and kind of do our songs. And then if we can get a 20-minute set where we just play like 5 songs, that's the dream. That's the absolute dream. 5 songs and bounce? Oh my gosh. Like, that is so much preferable to playing like the 3-hour marathon sets. Not that I don't enjoy those. But yeah, the 20-minute gigs, please. We'll open for anybody. How old was I when I started playing? And how long did it take to get good? I started playing when I was 17. Kind of referenced that earlier in the live stream. I don't know. And how long it took to get good? I don't know. Am I good now even? I felt like I probably played for 5 years before I felt comfortable performing in front of people, doing like an acoustic singer-songwriter thing. But that doesn't mean I probably could have, if I had more confidence, could have done it earlier. But yeah, I felt like it took me personally a few years to feel confident enough to perform in front of other people. So that will be my definition of being good, even though whatever, good is relative, you know. Some people think I'm not even good now. Whatever, you know what I mean? But confident enough to play in front of other people, that was probably 5 years, I guess. Have I ever seen Davida stumped by a song request? Yes, actually. I can answer this one. It was Champagne Supernova. It was on a live stream when he was doing his live stream world tour earlier in pandemic. I was watching, and I actually was there for the assist because one of the last gigs that I played pre-pandemic was Champagne Supernova. And it's kind of funny if you don't know the song, which of course Davidas by the way, Davidas is the best guitar player I've ever seen or had the pleasure of even knowing and kind of seeing how he does stuff. Davidas is the man. Please subscribe to him if you haven't already. He was stumped on Champagne Supernova because, and understandably so, because you know he'll listen to a song for the first time. And I remember probably the only time in history I was able to help Davidas with anything on a guitar, because it's like, because I could totally see how hearing that in the context of the recorded version, all it is this A suspended 2 chord, right? But the bass note changes, so it's A. So if you have like E minor chord, go down a string, and that'll give you A sus2, right? But it starts A sus2 with A in the bass. And all it is it's the bass line just walks from A to G to F sharp to E. That's the... And again, he would have figured it out 2 seconds later, but I was like, bro, A sus2, A, G, F sharp, E. Because like, you know, looking at the chords, a lot of times the chords are just wrong. But that would be the one time I think I may have helped the greatest guitar player in YouTube history actually learn a song, right? How tall am I? I'm 6'1". Here's the thing about being 6'1". When you tell people you're 6'1", they don't believe you, because everybody who is 5'11" or 6 foot like to say that they're 6'1". But the thing about being 6'1" is like, well, if you legitimately are 6'1", you don't want to say 6'2", because 6'1" is already the number that people lie about being when they're actually not 6'1". So I truly am 6'1", but I refuse to continue and perpetuate these lies that the under 6'1" men will try to keep going. So I'm not 6'2", I'm not 6. If anything, you know what? I might even be 6 foot and 4/5 of an inch, right? If you know, maybe that's true. With the hair, maybe that's 6'2", but no, 6'1". Definitely. Check me out on Instagram. I am proportional, right? 6'1". Come measure me. Make pet peeve when 5'11" bros are like, oh, I'm 6'1". It's like, bro, no, you're not. That's when I say that they're 5'10". Do you sing and will you? Yes, I do, and I'm actually going to try to get better at it this month and do my own thing. How old am I? I'm 100 years old. 37. Yes. 6'1", 37 years old. What is $25? Oh man, Billy Joe. Thank you so much for the donation. It is so appreciated. Yes. I had you down as a comfortable 5'8". You prejudged me, and you're sorry. Hey Joe, you know what I mean? It's all good, my man. I get it. It's hard to see how tall people are, you know. it's hard to judge them when you don't see them. That's what's funny is like when people meet me for the first time, like if maybe like a person notices me on the street, it's like, hey, Sean, it's like, whoa, you're so tall. Yeah, I think a lot of it is just, I'm usually on the couch in these videos, sitting next to like, you know, Andrea. Andrea's 5'7", I guess. So we look like the same height sitting down. But then, you know, me in my full glory, solid 6'1". So yeah, no big deal. But the head is huge, you know what I mean? So probably I'm a 5'8" body with just a huge, huge head. Yeah, a lot of people think I'm younger, but I'm definitely not. But I vibe younger. 5'8" with the fingers of a 4-foot tall person. Also, to other 37-year-olds, age is just a number. As long as you take care of yourself, you never get old. That's what's up. Does the kitty keyboard ever make the live show? No, it doesn't. Have not brought the cat keyboard. That thing is cursed. I'm looking at it right now. That will never, well, I'm not gonna say never make the live show, but that thing is definitely cursed. And there's also no output, so I have to mic it up. And I feel like miking up a cat piano is not something that I really am into at the current state of the live shows, but that doesn't mean it'll never happen, you know? My head isn't big. Thank you very much. Sean the Lollipop Man. Absolutely, right? A true bard belongs to no guild. Very true. I do hang with tallish women, yeah. Katie's super tall. I'm super tall, 5'8", 5'9", maybe. I don't know. I don't know how tall people are. I'm not a real numbers guy with that. But yeah. If I brush my hair, I probably would be down to 5 feet tall. The hair is kind of exploding. It's interesting being in California for the last 20 days and coming back to Florida, how the hair adjusts itself. Yeah. But anyways, I'm about to go watch Giannis take down the unholy trio of Harden, Durant, and Kyrie. Actually, much love to Durant. I'm a KD fan. He's the man. Have I ever performed in the UK? No, but I want to. I've been to the UK once, and I definitely want to do it. So set us up with a gig in the UK. I'll be there. We're making it happen, right? So yeah, definitely. If you guys have any video ideas, please let me know, because I finally have a little lull in the traveling that I've been doing. So I'm happy to kind of hit the ground running hard again. Thank you to Hyvibe for sending this guitar. This smart guitar. I will show you all about it in an upcoming video. And I'm hoping to get a video up every day this week. So let me know what kind of stuff you guys want to see, and I will try my best to tailor the content to the people, as I always try. I have not been to Australia, Kevin, but please give me a place to stay, and I'll be there, because it looks pretty awesome. Thank you, Jonathan, for the nice words. And Owen says, thank you for introducing him to Elliott Smith. Everybody listen to some Elliott Smith tonight. It'll make you a better musician and songwriter if that's something that you're interested in. So yes, you can sign up for the Patreon from the UK, Joe. There should be a link in this description somewhere. So again, thank you everybody for watching, and I will talk to you soon.